First one, really, just where do you feel that the team's at the moment with the last couple of results going into this derby?
I think we're in a place where we know we can be better, we want to be better, but there's still that optimism and belief that it will get there. It's taken probably longer to get that consistency that we wanted, but we've seen little bits and glimpses of it, which showed us ability and results to come, but we just need that on a regular basis. So yeah, we aren't happy with where we are and what we're doing, but like I said, there's enough to be hopeful about.
I mean, no doubt you guys are frustrated. The fans are clearly getting a little bit frustrated. Do you feel that when you're on the pitch at the moment?
No, not particularly. Like I said, playing here is always a privilege, and playing at home, especially over the last couple of years, has been something that I've looked forward to every home game, and recently this hasn't been the case for us to get results for them. So we need to improve, because we know how big our home form can be, and usually it's a reason for our success is why we are good at home. So we need to relish these games when we're playing in front of our fans, because we know how supportive they are. So listen, it's down to us as a group to really get that optimism back.
Derby games always bring a bit of pressure, a bit of added pressure, but given the league positions, does it add even more than you'd normally get into a game like this?
It probably does, yeah. It's they may be saying the same, but I think it's a fantastic game to come into at this stage and what's going on. They're massive games for everyone, for ourselves, for the fan base, for the city, everything, and we sort of relish that. And me personally, it excites me. It's something that I look forward to, and they're the fixtures you look at when the fixture list comes out in June. And yeah, like I said, it's another game to get 3 points, which we both need and we really need, and that'll be the main focus.
Funnily enough, been looking back at the number of Devon derbies, and there haven't actually been that many in your 6 years. Only 3 you've played.
3, yeah.
I'm going to start with the one you probably don't want to talk about first, but what are your first memories of that? Well, sorry, your lasting memories of that first one at St James Park, which didn't go so well?
No, it was horrible. Hated it. Probably one of the worst moments in my time here. There's probably in that top 3 of bad games, and it sticks with you. So I think having that and the experience of that helps. Like I said, 2 others have been really good, but that one does stick with you. And like I said, it's not a good feeling to lose games anyway. But like I said, to lose games like we did there was not a nice feeling. So no, we don't want to repeat that.
We'll move swiftly on to the happier note. The promotion season, you won both. The game here, the 4-2, was a cracker, sort of end to end. The return fixture was a bit quieter affair, 1-0. What do you think we're going to see on Thursday night, given the forecast and the position both teams are in?
Yeah, look, it's a game, like I touched on earlier, that we both need to win. We both need a result. Derby games are full of energy, enthusiasm, can be cagey at times. But like I said, we'll be going into it with a really focused mentality and knowing what it means and what everyone expects from us. And that's the minimum you can give. After that, like I said, the games, different scenarios and situations can occur. But like I said, we've got to go there, give 100%, show our best selves, and like I said, hope for a positive result. And
just last one for me, what sort of advice would you be giving to players who haven't played in this kind of game so far?
Relish it. It's a fantastic game to be involved in. Like I said, I've been on both sides of it. But when you're on the plus side of it, on the good side, you come away with the win. It's like I said, it's one of the best feelings you'll have. So relish it, enjoy it, and really take it in, and make sure you give everything you can and show anything that you've got to do what you need to do.
Brilliant. Thanks, Joe. Best of luck the weekend.
No problem, thank you.
In fact, not the weekend. Thursday. Don't often get to say that.
I know. Yeah.
Hello, Joe. Just a couple. That 4-0 defeat at St James's Park. It felt from the outside that perhaps the Argyle team then didn't quite appreciate what they would be walking into at St James's Park. It's a very hostile sort of atmosphere in the Devon derby. Quite rightly, it's the same here as well. Is this current team well aware of what they're going to be walking into on Thursday night? Yeah, absolutely. And at times there's different reasons for doing different preparation for games. And like I said, we had a certain preparation then, and like I said, when you come away with a result like that, it's a horrible feeling. So, yeah, no, we all know what it's like there. We know what it can be like in derby games, and like I mentioned there, it's a game that you really need to relish and look forward to, and you want to go there expecting hostile, expecting what it's going to be like, and really come out
fighting and knowing what it means to play for this club in this game. And like I said, we'll prepare with that mentality. And like I said, when you go into that and you give everything you can, that's all we can ask for.
It must have been a frustrating season for you so far. You had the injury, then you had the suspension as well. It's been a bit stop-start. But here you are. If you play tomorrow night, it would be your 250th appearance for the club. I think there's only 45 players in history that have ever got to that number. I mean, we can't assume that you'll play, but hopefully you do. You know, what would it mean to get to that landmark? You know, it's a very rare thing, and particularly more so, I think, in modern day football. Immense
pride. It'd be, like I touched on there. Every game I've played, I've relished the chance to play for this fantastic club, and to get to 250 would be amazing. To get to 250 in a Devon derby is something special, and if I can do that, if I can play and come out on a good side, it'll be, like I said, one of my favourite memories of this club. So real pride. Like I said, I love playing for this club. I always have, and like I said, I hope I show that when I play, and I always try and give 100%. Sometimes quality or whatever, it is what it is, but like I said, I'll always give 100%. I'll always try my hardest, and playing for this club makes me do that.
Best luck on Thursday.
Thank you.
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
As the club captain, do you feel a sense of responsibility to bring the team together to show them how important this derby game is?
Yeah, absolutely. I do, and I think that's my probably biggest feeling going into these games, but not only these games, this season, every game at the minute. My response is to one, look after the squad, but also responsibility for the city and for the club. It's something that I enjoy, but it's also something that I need to realise is really important, and that's the responsibility that I want to, and it keeps the drive in me. Like I said, because like I said, I want to keep playing, I want to keep helping this club, and if I'm helping in a way where I'm helping others, then fantastic. Am I helping on the pitch? Even better. But yeah, the responsibility is something I take on, and I really enjoy, but that is a bigger job of mine to keep that and make sure everyone realises what we're doing it for and who we're doing it for.
And how about the response that you get from the fans? Because they all love you. You know, you're such a big part of this club. To be playing potentially your 250th game on Thursday night, to have them behind you as well is pretty good, isn't it?
Amazing. Yeah, this is why I've loved playing so much here, and like I said, I'm lucky to be able to have played 250 games for this club. Like I said, mention it there, not many have, and for me to be able to do it, like I said, is incredibly proud. But it's having that support is what drives me. I've also touched on it with the boys this week. Playing in these games, you can become a hero. There's players who haven't played many games for Argyle, but have still got a really good name and brought up in these occasions because they've scored in games or they've won these games. So it's a chance to become a hero, and you want to be on the right side of it. So we have to prepare fully for it. We know how important it is, not just in the league table, but for everything for the club. For me to be able to be captain of this club, but also play this amount of games, like I said, it's immense pride.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're probably well aware. Tom's got he's really interested in the history of the club, you know. So I just wonder, has he chatted to you about Thursday's game? You know, the sort of history of it as well as everything else.
Yeah.
I thought he might.
He had a trip around Plymouth on Sunday to explore the city more and find out more. So I think it's fantastic. He's not just coming down here to be a football manager. He's coming down and he's including himself in the city, and he wants to know everything about the city. He wants to know everything about the history. And like I said, the heartbeat of this community is the football club, and what it means to fans, what it means to the city is brilliant. And I think for him to sort of understand that and try and learn about it more is fantastic. And he's given us this information from what he's learnt. We've obviously got Nance who helps him along the way. So he's not shied away from finding out what it means to everyone, which is fantastic for me. And like I said, tells the boys how serious it is and what it means. So it's brilliant.
Do you feel like an adopted Jano now?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'd hope they'd feel the same. Like I said, we've had a fairly incredible ride over this period. Of course, we've had a setback last year, but in general, it's been fantastic. And like I said, hopefully there's a few more brilliant days to come. And like I said, hopefully Thursday can be one of them.
How are you feeling at the moment about things? Does it feel a little bit like it's one step forward, two steps back at times?
Yeah. There's an large element of frustration and anger, and I feel like we're feeling that as a group now. The key is that we show that in our performance. I feel like sometimes it's good to play a little bit angry and a little bit frustrated, and so yeah, I think that's the key. After the Burton game, we've not capitalised on 2 home games where we were in good positions in both games. There's a frustration, there's an anger about that, and we need to see some of that in our performance Thursday.
Are you quite good at drawing a line under bad results, then moving on, or does it dwell and sort of linger with you?
No, I'm getting better at it. I think it's important that you improve what went wrong in order that bad result came about, and that's what we are. We're trying to work in that process, that when the things need addressing, that we address them, and that's what we're doing now. To develop, to progress, what we need to make sure is when we improve, they're a really genuine group of players. When we address something, then we normally see that in the next few performances. Key is then holding on to that, being consistent, and then being able to add layers on that. So that's the key moving forward. That I have no doubt we'll see improvements on what we need to from the weekend, and then we just need to hold on to that in future weeks.
It's your first Devon derby. I'm guessing that before you came down to Plymouth Argyle, you might not have known too much about Devon derbies. Has Joe and Nance been in your ear a little bit about what to expect up at St James Park?
Yeah, I actually remember watching the 4-2 game here on Sky, to be honest. So yeah, until you're in a derby, you don't really know what it's like. So I don't think it'd be fair for me to compare it to any other derbies I've been involved in, because each one has its own little uniqueness about it. So I've been getting as much information as I can and doing research, but until you've experienced it, what I can say is I'm really looking forward to it. These are the reason why why we're all in football, to experience nights like this and do our absolute best to make sure we're on the right side of the result.
If you don't mind me just going back to you as a player, you were lucky enough to play in 2 city derbies, Manchester and Liverpool. What are your kind of lasting memories of that as a player, about the whole occasion and everything about it, really? Yeah,
only once. I was trying to rack my brain. Only once in my 18 years I won an away derby. And what I would say is it's one of the best feelings I've had. If you said to me what are my top 3 days, it was one of them was winning at the Etihad. So yeah, it's like I said, it's why we're in this industry, why I'm on this side of the fence, because I want to be involved in days like this and prepare a team to go and win at places like this.
As an Everton fan, we'll skirt over the Liverpool derbies for now.
Yeah.
But Joe let slip that you had a tour of the city this week. Why did you think that was important for you to do?
Yeah, I thought my family had been down this week, and I thought it was important for me to connect to the history of the city, to educate myself a little bit more, and important week to do that, because I think derbies are more than just a game of football. They really are one city against another. Who shows up for work on Friday morning in a good mood? It's got long-lasting effects, and without putting too much pressure on our group, it is a special week, and I wanted to connect and educate myself a bit more about Plymouth as a city before this game.
Without wanting to put you on the spot, was there anything that stood out and jumped out and you thought, oh wow, I didn't know that?
Yeah, you obviously know as a northerner that there's a big naval presence here, but how big that actually is surprising, and the history behind it, and the war, and Drake's Island and things like that. It's good to connect yourself. What I did let the players know is that we're a massive military city, but one of the heartbeats of the city is the football club, and we're in a privileged position to represent our football club, our city, in a derby like this.
I'll come back to the football now. Joe, I asked you about the pressure of this game. There's always pressure on a derby, but given the situations with both clubs' positions in the league, slightly more this year. Are you feeling that?
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, there's the 46 games in a league, and we can't get sort of. I'm not obsessed with the league table at this stage of the season. On the other hand, yeah, short-term results is priority A for me in my job, and that is not good enough at the minute. There's frustration around that, and yes, My first obsession is not where both teams are in the league and what's that going to do right now. It's obviously nicer looking at a league table when you sit in the top half of it or near the top of it than the bottom of it. What it would be is a huge spark of life to our season, a big momentum shift from the last 2 games, and a really important 3 points.
Well, thanks for your time. Good luck on Thursday.
Cheers.
Thanks, Andy.
Hello, Tom.
Hi.
Is it fair to say you did a sort of sightseeing trip with the family then, and sort of had a real good look around the city, together?
Yeah, it was double-edged sword that the family got to see where I work and who I represent, and I got to educate myself about some of the history of the city.
And as you rightly say, the Dockyard plays a very big part in this city's life, but so does this football club as well. It's one of the things that puts Plymouth on the map. So a game like Thursday night, which is live on national TV, and they'll obviously highlight the fact, it's a Devon derby. It's a big deal for everybody down here. And can you feel that when you're going around at the moment?
Since day one, it was. You made aware of it straight away, and like I said, I'd be doing it in injustice if I was to compare it to anything else. That's why I don't want to mention Liverpool, Everton, Man United, Man City, Watford, Luton. I don't think you can compare it. They've got their own unique rivalries, their own sort of. It's got a real tribal feeling about it, Derby week, and yeah, it's an important game for us. So. We'll prepare the best we can. We need to react from the weekend's disappointment, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
It's an away game that's just 40 miles away. Does that sound nice?
Well, we can rest a little bit. Listen, we haven't been anywhere near as consistent enough here, but it's one thing we have been good at in recent weeks is our away form, so we can rest on that. We need to, because we've got a lot of travels coming up. And yeah, logistically it is a nice one for us, only going down the road.
The opposition manager on Thursday night is someone that you played with at Wigan in the Premier League. What's your thoughts on Gary Caldwell as a teammate and now as a manager? Yeah,
he was my captain at Wigan, so like I said, me and Gary have got 1 year's history together. You could tell, future coach for sure. Him and his brother were the vocal ones at the back there. And yeah, he's been there for 3 years, 2 or 3 years now. So yeah, he's a good guy. Someone I'm not going to try and build it up to be something it's not. He's someone who I've got on with previously, but for Thursday night we'll be absolutely going head to head. And yeah, I'll look forward to seeing him on the other side of the line.
I know you'll have done your homework on Gary Caldwell's team. What do you make of Exeter City as a football team?
Yeah, so they're very rotational. They're quite hard to predict how they'll play. There've been a few different systems. They've been sometimes direct, sometimes looking to play. What I would say is a lot of that it comes secondary on a derby day. The fundamentals are primary on Thursday, and that's running, that's tackling, that's set pieces, that's communicating, that's sticking together, and they're things that we must do better from the weekend.
Is there any team news you can give us about who's available, not available, that sort of thing?
Cornell back in contention, available for selection, and no new fresh injury concerns. So yeah, only the 4 long-term ones now, which is probably the best it's been for a long time.
Owen Dale's someone who's not been in the matchday squad the last few games. Can you talk to me about his situation? Why he's not been involved, and could that change? Thursday and going forward.
Yeah, I mean, Owen's a little bit of a unfortunate one for the system, because Owen would consider, and we would consider his best position as a right winger. Now, when you lose a couple of players who I see being able to play as wingers, then 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 comes out of the question. Now, is Owen an 8, a right-sided 8? I don't think so. And then, so for the wing-back, which I do think he can do, especially an attacking wing-back, he's got competition from Joe, Matty, Barley and Eamon. There's 5 for 2 places, so he's got a great attitude. He's doing the absolute. He's reacted really well to how you'd expect for someone getting left out, and he's given himself the best chance to get back in the plans for Thursday. So, utmost respect for Owen and how he's reacted to a couple of disappointments, and he's given himself every chance.
And you mentioned Eamon as well. He's played as a wing back and as a full back. Is there anywhere else you see him playing in the team, or do you purely view him as a wing back and he's going to have to wait in the queue for the chance to get a starting place?
Yeah, I mean, he is versatile. We played him in a more attacking role away at Cardiff. I didn't think it was his most effective game. Now, that's a high bar you're judging him in probably the best team in the league away from home. So, not quickly to rule him out of being in that position, but I've seen his most effective position as left wing back in this team. So, a lot of competition in that position.
Thanks for your time. Good luck on Thursday.
Cheers.
Hi Tom, I always talk about the fans, and you talked a little bit about the history of this city and how important the football club is as part of that. How important are the fans going to be on Thursday night?
Yeah, they've been fantastic since we've been here. You know, it could have been made a lot more uncomfortable, especially after those first 4 games. Now they're right on the right balance of demanding as well as supporting, and I think that's exactly what your fan base should do. You know, demand, have an opinion, as well as be supportive of the football team, and they absolutely have nailed it since I've been here. So I've got no sort of doubts that they'll be right behind us Thursday. They'll be our 12th man, and yeah, we need to continue our good run of away form to reward them for that.
Are you expecting them to be a bit more demanding because it's a derby?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is, it's my first Devon derby, but like I said, it's not my first derby in football, and they do. The demands get heightened a little bit more, and that's normal. Now, as a group of staff and players, we need to handle that, and make sure that we give ourselves the best chance to perform.
Thank you.
Cheers.
You probably know through your time as a player that managers fall in 2 sort of camps. They either say derbies aren't that important, it's 3 points, they use that cliche, but you definitely fall in the other camp, don't you? Derbies are important.
Yeah, I think what's important is you take a stance on what you think is going to get the best out of your players. So I'll give you an example. Last year I went to Kenilworth Road, built it up as the biggest game of our careers, and got done 3-0, froze a little bit. So then the reverse fixture, I played it down, and we gave Luton a good beating. Now I see this group of players as a group that after the weekend we need to rise to Thursday, and Thursday is a big deal. So that is the approach. I think that approach is the one that I enjoy more, for sure. Yeah. And as a staff and Nance and we enjoy that because, high stakes on Thursday, and I think as a group of players they can respond to that.
And you say stung there. You were stung by the weekend defeat, weren't you? You weren't happy about that at all. No,
it was a real momentum killer. You know, I think the games that you don't really turn up in, so Wigan, we didn't lose, and it's not such a momentum killer. Whereas when you lose those games, I'm thinking Peterborough and Wimbledon, they really are momentum killers, especially after the start to the game. You know, we spoke a lot about the first goal being so important in those games when you've got a team who's playing a 5 who are really hard to break down, and they've been successful at it this season. When you score the first goal, you really are in a dominant position there, and to let that go in the manner we did it was a real disappointment. Now we've brushed ourselves off Sunday, and then been straight back to work and preparing for an important game.
Are you pleased to have Cornell back in the selection process? Because he had that fitness test, and you said he failed it like by that much, didn't he? So
yeah, really pleased. You know, Cornell was in good form before his injury. He brings us good physicality as a right wing back, as a right centre back. He brings us good speed on the back line, and he brings his long throw. So yeah, he brings a lot to the squad, Cornell, and so good to have him back.